Hi again everyone. So today we're making, as you would have already seen at the beginning of the video, a summer top, and it's extremely hot here in the south of UK at the moment, so I need this, to be honest. I've seen these kind of similar in crochet, and I thought it'd be quite nice to try and do one for the loom as well. So this is, I say cropped, it can be anywhere from just above your hips up. If you make it any longer than hip length, you're probably going to need to do increases and things like that. This is specifically designed to be slightly shorter. So if I show you, this is the side I've already done here. If I fold it in half, then you can, obviously it's wider than this, but I'll fold it in half just to make it easier for you to see. So we've got some ribbing at the bottom, 2 knit 2 purl ribbing, and this will fit sort of around your rib cage up to just underneath the bust. And then we've got just some regular E-wrap, and then we've got a little bit of extra 2 knit 2 purl at the top, just to pull it in at the top and also to stop it from curling over. So that's pretty much it. And this section here, you can make this as long or as short as you want. You could just do, you know, a few rows like this and have it almost like a bra top really, or I've done this to fit just above my hips, so it covers up the whole sort of mid section really. Yeah, and then there's obviously going to be some straps, but I haven't actually quite decided how I'm going to do the straps yet. Whether they're going to be tie straps or just regular straps or whatever, but they will be wide enough to cover the bra straps, which is what I wanted. So what you need to do first of all is decide what loom you're going to use. Now what you need is something which is going to give a piece which is big enough to fit comfortably over your bust area, but not too loose. Right, this is meant to be a fairly sort of snug fitting top. So I'm using this one, which is 50 pegs, which gives a flat panel of around 17 to 18 inches. If you need it bigger than that, you can use the 62 peg loom, which gives around about 21, 22 inches. I'm not sure what the next one down from this will do, because it's not the loom that I use very often, but obviously what you can do is just knit a swatch test, and I have put the link for that, of how to do that, below this video in the description. I have a page on my blog, my website, which tells you how to make a swatch to be able to work out how many pegs you need. Alright, but this will do around 17 to 18 inches. Okay, you also need some yarn. This is what I'm using. Want to be working with one strand, right? We don't want this to be a heavyweight thing at all, so get something that is for a 5 to 6 mil crochet hook, and it will work perfectly with this. And you'll also need all your usual things, knitting hook and so on. So let's get started. Right, now to cast on, we're going to do my usual sort of favourite cast on here, which is the flat stitch cast on. So we're going to make our little slip knot as usual. Put it onto peg 1, and we're just going to start off by wrapping every single peg on the loom, because we're using the whole loom of this. There's no decreases or anything in this. The widths as you go up the top are adjusted by the stitch that you use, so the ribbing at the bottom pulls it in a little bit, and then it goes slightly wider over the bust area with the E-wrap, and then it goes in a little bit again at the top. So you're just going to wrap the whole loom like that. Okay, so when you've wrapped all your pegs round to the last one, you're going to take the working yarn to the front, hold it in front of the pegs, and just knit them off. Don't hold this too tightly. Right, so when you flatten it all the way back to peg 1, my peg 1 is this one that's always got the little coloured dot on the top. We're now going to start our ribbing. Now, as I said, you can make this as long as or as short as you like. I have done 33 rows for mine, but obviously you can adjust that to your personal preference, whether you want just very, very short crop top or one that's slightly longer, that like mine is. But the pattern is going to be the same, and it's going to be 2 knit 2 purl. Now if you watched my sock video recently, I did the same pattern there, except I used a U-wrap knit stitch, and this time we're going to use an E-wrap. So to make this, we're going to do 2 knits to start with. So we're going to wrap peg 1 and then E-wrap peg 2 and knit off. So take the working yarn round to the front. Okay, put it below the loop that's already there, put your hook under, scoop up a loop, right, remove the old loop and pop the new one on. And then the next one is a pearl also, so again, below the loop, scoop up the working yarn, remove the old loop and put the new one on, and then 2 knits, so we're just going to wrap and wrap. And this is quite tight because this is our cast on row, but after the cast on row is gone it gets much looser. Okay, and then we're back to 2 pearls, so you're just going to do that all the way around. 2 knit, 2 pearl, 2 knit, 2 pearl round to the end, and you're going to do that for as many rows as you need to. So say I did 33, so you just need to sort of measure up maybe with a tape measure beforehand and decide how long you want that piece of ribbing to be. And then once you've done the ribbing, we'll be ready to move on to the next bit, which is the E-wrap, which is the widest section of this. Right, so when you have done your ribbing at the bottom here, you're then ready to move on to the E-wrap section, and you're going to E-wrap back and forth until the whole thing from the bottom of the ribbing here up to the top of the E-wrap measures around about 11 inches. So we're going to work now. We've done the ribbing here at the bottom, and now we're going to do this section here. And I'm not going to actually show you this because it's the same as the start really. When you've got it up to about 11 inches in total, you're then going to do 4 more rows of knit 2, purl 2 just to finish off the top here, and then we'll cast off. So let's see, we're on to this now. So you've got your yarn, working yarn here at the end. We're just going to wrap the peg and then just straightforward E-wrap for this section. Very simple and quick, and just knit them off like so. Ooh, wonky peg. Like that. It's a good idea to just do a few pegs at a time when you're knitting on a long loom like this, and doing your E-wrap. So you're going to go all the way around, back and forth, until the whole thing from the bottom here up to the top of the E-wrap measured about 11 inches. Then you're going to do 4 rows of knit 2, purl 2 again. And when you've done that, we'll come back and I'll show you how to cast off and seam the 2 sides together. Okay, so once you've finished all of the ribbing and all of this E-wrap, and then your last 4 rows of knit 2, purl 2, you're then ready to cast off. And we're just going to use my usual cast off method here, which I find the easiest, but you do have to be careful because you need to keep the stitches very loose. So what we're going to do is we're going to knit the first peg, okay, knit the second peg, okay, and then we're going to take this stitch here and move it back onto that peg there, knit over. Now notice I'm not pulling any of these tight. You have to keep these stitches really loose. Knit over, sorry, camera's getting out of focus, there we go, and then move this stitch back over to here. So now your working yarn is here and we've cast off this first peg. So then you're going to basically repeat that. So you're going to knit this peg, don't tighten anything up, remove this from here, okay, move it over to there, knit off, remove this from here and put it over to here, don't tighten it up. Okay, you have to be very careful, you have to hold your stitches down because they're loose, they're going to pop off otherwise, so just keep them held down. Go to the next one, knit, up, move them there. See how loose this is. It's got to be like that, okay? So don't try and tighten it up. Just be careful when you knit off. There. So I'll do the next one for you so you can, oops, see, that's what I mean. Okay, so you're going to do that all the way along until you get round to this last peg here. Right, so when you get down to the last 2 stitches, you're going to do the same thing. I'm going to knit this one. There. Move over to there. Knit off. Obviously we're not going to move this one because it's the last one anyway, so we're just going to knit it once. We're going to cut our working yarn, like so. Pull this through, take it out, tighten that up there, and it's all off, and you see it's nice and loose at the top. If you didn't do those cast off stitches loosely, what you end up with is this is all kind of bunched up really tight, and you don't want that. So what you're going to do with this now, once you've made your 2 pieces, is you're just going to let them rest for a couple of hours, because you need all these stitches to kind of just settle into place. So you're going to just leave this for a couple of hours, and then you'll be ready to seam the 2 sides together and make the straps, and your top will be finished. Okay, now when you finish knitting the 2 sides, you need to seam them together. Now I messed up here because I thought I had recorded the section where I seamed the 2 sides together, but it turned out I hadn't. I don't know what to say. It's been very hot recently and I haven't been sleeping very well, and I basically just messed up. But anyways, so when you come to seam the sides together, you've got 2 choices really. You can put the right sides together and then over sew the sides, or you can do the invisible seam method, which is what I did, where you put you basically put the wrong sides together and invisible seam up the sides. Now there are lots of videos on how to do that, so luckily it doesn't matter too much that I forgot to show you, but that's what I did with mine. I used the invisible seam method. Once you've got the 2 sides together, you're ready to do the straps. Now I've done the first one on mine. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to put this on, and then you need to take stitch markers and work out where you want the straps to be, and put a little marker here. I used 5 stitches for the width of my strap, so this would be like the middle and then 2 each side. And so you put your stitch markers where you want your straps to go. You also take a tape measure and work out how long you want them to be, sort of measure up over your shoulders. Always make the straps slightly shorter than you think you need, because they do have a tendency to stretch out. And then you've got a choice when it comes to making the straps. You can either crochet them, if you know how to crochet, or you can just knit them. I would use probably 6 pegs. And then I would use something like a U-wrap, which is a slightly tighter stitch, which won't stretch out quite as much as the E-wrap. Make the strap the length you want it, cast off, and then just sew them in place, as I've done with mine here. Okay, so I crocheted mine and I used 5 stitches, as I said. I just made a slip stitch into the first one, went across 5, and then just went backwards and forwards until it got to the right length, and then sewed it on the other side. So yeah, you make the 2 straps, you sew them on, and that's your top finished. I say I do apologise for the bit in the middle where I forgot to show you the seaming. I really thought I had done it, and it was like, I didn't do it. So I apologise for that. But anyway, the last bit isn't difficult. So enjoy, and see you in the next video, I guess. Bye.